Welcome, Bobcat friends. This is Tyler Lane and Guy Walker here with the opening drive and Coach Strickland, sponsored by Roof Masters and Bubbas 33 in Longview, Texas. Guy, you got any questions for Coach Strickland this morning?
Well, Tyler's all fired up about being here today. Coach, we got Mount Pleasant Friday night.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about Mount Pleasant. What do we look for in them?
We look for a team. When I look at our district, you have Texas High and Marshall right now at the top, and then we talked about some parity after that. I think that Mount Pleasant, the challenges they bring are, what they bring up front with their defensive line and, their athletic secondary. Offensively, they, haven't just lit up the scoreboard, but they've been very, very efficient. They've scored about, I think we're like 3 points off on the season from what we've scored and they've scored. But their defense has been pretty stingy. And so with them, what you have to make sure you do in kind of the situation we're in, having to win by a certain number of points, is that, man, every single play, not just drive, now every single play is important. And there's a magnifying glass on every single one of them. And for us, to do what we have to do, we have to put a bunch of those plays together, in which we have a good plan. And, man, we've already tried to get a little practice in, got stopped by the lightning earlier, but – that's kind of the plan going forward for us on Friday night, and be pretty aggressive.
So, and let's talk about that. Do you change your game plan? I mean, do you change your playbook just a little bit, knowing you have to score bunches? Because we're a good hold on the ball, with methodical drives, and pop one here and there. Do you change your game plan? We got to go quick and got to go faster.
We have to be able to steal some possessions at some point, whether it be win the turnover battle or by scoring more quickly, honestly, because in order to win by 16, what has to happen there is you got to have enough possessions that, something's going to go wrong in one of those possessions. You can't go in there thinking that, putting all your chips on the table that you're going to score every single drive versus a defense that's pretty stingy. So you have to create possessions within a game. We need more possessions than what both teams have averaged so far. And, we have ways that we've game planned to do that. So,
well, one thing we talk a little bit about the Marshall game also. Again, your second half adjustments are just, I don't know, phenomenal. Y'all go in and figure stuff out and come back out the second half. It's almost like a different team. Did you feel like the same way? Last Friday night was the same way?
I did, but there were some things earlier in that game where, even our first drive, we missed an assignment on the receiver screen, and we got guys all in front, and we're one block away, and it was kind of things like that. We had to make some adjustments defensively for sure in the first half before we went to halftime, with them gashing us a little bit early, and going into it at halftime, it was more about what I don't want to see versus what we do want to see, and you got to have some pride, and that name on the front of your jersey is important because that's your town, and if we had names on the back, that's important too because it's your family. So make sure you represent both in the way we want to, and we did. We made a few adjustments schematically, but that's more of a game just going out and having some pride and doing what we were supposed to do.
Well, that's probably one of the best running backs. I know he came back from injury. And the Gadsden kid, I've seen it this year for sure. He is so fast and so elusive. I've not seen anything like that.
His one-step cuts were very, very, very good in open space. And, early on he had some open space. With a guy like that, you have to corral him around the line of scrimmage. And if you're one assignment off and you get he gets a chance to get in the secondary,
he rolls.
He's going to make people I see playing on Saturdays miss.
Yeah,
that's how good he is in the open field. And, you got to tip your cap to a player like that. And so, like we talked about, the game plan for that was to try to corral him at the line of scrimmage, which we did a better job in the second half of.
Well, that your secondary, LV showed up pretty big on Friday night. Hale, he was tackling everything except for the daggone mascot. And even in the second half, those guys still fought like, again, you talked to them at halftime, show pride for the name on the front.
Yeah, and, Blanton, hell,
He tackles everything.
Yeah,
I'm surprised he didn't come tackle you sometimes.
I'm surprised he didn't. He's y'all are going to talk to him later today too, and he's last year he led our team as a sophomore with 123 tackles, and right now he's already in triple digits. He has 100 tackles even right now in the year. So that's 223 tackles with one game left to go in his junior year. So you talk about a guy that can tackle.
That's tough.
He puts his bodies in a situation where he can avoid a block, and he ends up getting the runners I never thought he'd have a chance of at the line of scrimmage sometimes. And, I'd like to say that was coaching, but a lot of that's Blanton being Blanton.
Oh, no doubt. And I didn't realize we was going to get him here a little bit. But
Yeah.
I've seen some progressions. His brother, quarterback, he's come on at quarterback really well.
Yeah.
You got, your running back, he's done really well.
Yeah, I think our running back's
better and better.
He's 60 yards away from a 1,000-yard season rushing, and when it comes down to that, the other night the one thing I was a little bit disappointed with is the fact that we had to open it up a little bit and throw the ball, and we had some crossing routes and things that were open, and it was just one guy here or there when a team like that makes you pay for one mistake. And for example, our left tackle, that number 17, their defensive end was fast, so we're going to have to make him run the hoop. Quarterback's going to have to step up, and if one of those interior guys gets beat a little bit and there's nowhere to step up to, and so I thought, Slayton Donald had his hands full and did a really, really good job on him in pass pro. We just kind of secure the middle a little bit with some of that, and we're fine. And we got some guys over the middle because they left the middle of the field open that we could take advantage of, and we just weren't able to do that. And it gets to a point in the second half, and as a coach, you always want to be in the game, but you also are like, all right, it's 35-7. Let's not use this because I know what needs to be done the following week. And I feel really, really good about this week against Mount Pleasant and the mentality of our guys. And I told our guys, hey, it's not hard. The game plan's pretty much already been made for us. We know what we have to do. When you got to win by a certain number of points, it's all you can get every single play and be as aggressive as possible.
So do you have to give them an extra speech Friday night? I know they know the situation.
They know the situation, yeah.
It's one of those guys, we win, and by this we're in.
Yeah. So. I'll probably give them one and have our keys to the game, points to the game. For me, a pregame speech is kind of hit or miss. Like as far as me, like sometimes I give them what I think the keys to the game are. Sometimes I can get them fired up, but here's the deal. People talk about music to run out to and all this. They could play the theme song from Barney Friday night, and our guys better still be fired up to play because all that speech stuff lasts about kickoff and the next play, and all that stuff's out the window. It's who's ready to lock in from play to play, and then pick each other up on the sideline. And our motto is one heartbeat, and that's what it's going to take, all of us together.
That's right. Well, Coach, good luck Friday night. I got a good feeling. We play like we did the second half against Marshall. I feel like we'd be just.
Yeah, I feel really good about Friday night. I'm fired up. It's at home. I know it's all of our other. It's all our organizations. Everybody else's senior night, so I hope the stands are full, and I think the weather's going to be nice and feel great. So it'll be a fun night of football.
I think so. Well, fans, this has been
the opening drive.
I keep forgetting that. This is the opening drive sponsored by Bubbas 33 of Longview. Tyler over here, he's the talkative one. Tyler, we appreciate you talking so much over there.
Yeah, I try.
Thank you, Bobcat fans. We'll see you Friday night.